I couldn't cover the deadline on Tuesday, so automatically the due date of your quiz 5 is extended to the next week, so it's March 9. Then you have a time to prepare. This is not part of your midterm exam, so it's okay. So midterm exam will cover chapter 1 through 6. So also, as I mentioned, we will decide the midterm exam date at the end of this class. So we are going to continue through the chapter 7. This is the last chapter. Is it okay to hear? For me, it's another weird voice because I can hear from behind. So I get used to this one, but I need to get used to one more time. Okay, so this is the last topic of the process management. So we have discussed about the most of the class in the first half of the semester. We discussed about the process management, including creating an operating process, as well as the thread, and also process synchronization and scheduling, and so on. The last topic is the deadline problem. So I think that we have seen a little bit about the deadline in the process synchronization. Do you remember that? So when a process accesses the critical section or accessing the shared data, so each process got the mutex log. So for example, there are two shared data and there exists the two processes. Each process already got the log or mutex log for each the shared data. So process 0, process 1. So there are the shared data 0 and shared data 1. So this one already got the mutex log for this, and this one get the mutex log for this. Then what if they want another item? Request the mutex log of the S1 and mutex log of this. This is called the deadlock situation. Why? Because they cannot do anything until one of them is available or one of the process give up. So their process. So we are going to define formally what is the deadlock situation, deadlock event in operating system, and how to address such a problem. Interestingly, the solution is very simple. Later you will realize. So can you guess how operating systems handle such a deadlock situation? Synchronization? Actually, ignore. So we will see why operating system ignore such a deadlock event, then what we can do for the deadlock event. Okay. So this is the deadlock problem. So we are going to finally define what is a deadlock here. So let's say intuitively you know what is a deadlock, but in this case we are going to define them clearly. So first we should have the resource. Resource doesn't have to be just a physical resource, including printer, tape drive, whatever. Also it includes the logical resource and any other the resources in. Yes.
Can you just remind us the starting?
Yes. Even my first time. What about this? Is it okay?
You move the mic away from your mouth, maybe it sounds better.
Yeah.
Is it better?
Yeah, this is good.
Okay. Because this should be controlled by here. Then it will be better, but this time, I think it's maximized. Yeah, so, okay, so let me know if you are not comfortable to hear that, then I can change into the original one. So, because it's too heavy for me. Sometimes if I wear the 3-4 hours, I can feel the pain. You will realize the same thing after turning to the 40. Okay, so resource can be anything that can be used by the processes. So that is a resource. So, for example, if there is the 2-disk drive, then in your computer system, the P usually represent in this the class we will use the P to indicate the process. There are two processes, P1 and P2. So each of them is holding one of the disk. Then, so using the semaphore or the mutex and A and B, so it can be the weight A is getting the lock, right? Okay, so wait A and the wait B. Then what if after each process acquire the lock of the A and B, then they request the same thing, then that's called the deadlock, the event that nobody can use the proceed the next step. So if before we formally define the deadlock, this is one of the example of the deadlock. So let's this is a bridge. Okay, this car is trying to cross the bridge from left to right, and this another opposite lane. So from right to the left. Let's say east to west. Okay, then if they meet in the middle of the bridge, this is also deadlock. Why? Because we can consider the crossing the bridge as the shared resource, and the sequence of the lane can be considered as the process in terms of operating system on entering. So they are occupying this road, but they request the crossing the bridge, but they'd like to use the same. So this is also called the deadlock. To address most of the deadlock has the to address such a problem, we can give the kind of a priority to the process. We can give the priority to crossing from east to west. Okay, at that time, if there are the cars coming from the east to west that would like to cross the bridge, then no car can cross the bridge from the west to the east. So you should be careful to use the priority-based solution and to address the problem of the deadlock. So because of the starvation. So another example of the deadlock, this one will be happen a lot in the downtown. So actually, one of the reasons why I decided to move to United States was there are several reasons, but one of them is the last job in my hometown was in the IBM. So when I moved to the IBM, actually my manager said that your job location, your office is very close to my house. So it's actually the headquarters of the IBM Korea is just a 10-minute driving distance. Then once I signed, my manager assigned me to one of the customer site, which is the 2.5 hours driving distance. I always should get through the downtown Seoul in Korea. The Seoul is one of the notorious for the morning traffic. So it takes, so every morning, so I encounter such a problem. So which means that this is the road, and the car, they are not waiting for the traffic signal. If there's any room, they try to cross, then it's a stop in the middle. We can consider this kind of a situation deadlock. So for example, this is the sequence of the instruction. So we can consider this is a process. Then crossing the road is the shared data. Okay. So then if they are this process is holding this load, but the requesting another is held by this one, and this one also requesting crossing the load, but held by another one. So this is a stop, right? So this is called the deadlock situation. So really happen. What about the downtown in the Manhattan? We should have the policeman. So that is the reason. So we are going to formally define in this case. So right now you know intuitively you know what is a deadlock. So in our system model, the P represents the process. So P1, P2, P3 is the process 1, process 3, and also for the resource, shareable resource is the R1, R2, and Rn. So it can be anything, so physical devices, and also the logical, the data structure, and anything can be the resources, including CPU cycle, memory space, I/O device, and each resource may have the multiple. So for example, the CPUs. So how many CPUs? So if you are using the multiple processor, so we have the multiple instances. So in this case, each resource type, this is called the resource type, has a number of instances. So W indicates the number of instances. So then, if we formalize to use such a shareable resource in operating system is basically the computer resource can be used by requesting to get it's not exactly the request, the system call, it can be various, but the semantic of such a call is I'd like to use that system resource request. It can be open. It can be the malloc. In case of the memory allocation, it can be malloc. So, and also in case of the file, so it's F open. So there are different names, but their meaning, semantic of such a system call is a request. Then you can use it. Okay. Then once you complete your operation, then you need to release that resource. So it can be various, like the F close, or the M free, and the release, but the meaning of the semantic of such a system call is the release. So it's a three step. You need to request getting the one and use it and release the resources. Then, okay. So we are going to characterize. We are going to define what is the deadlock. Okay. First, only one process to use that shared resource. What if many processes can use the resource at the same time? There might be no problem, right? So only that is called the mutual exclusion. For example, in this case, if you have something right? So other way, so or there might be no problem. Or if we have another line, so there might be no problem. Only one process, the car cross the road, so that is called a mutual exclusion. Only one processor at a time can use the resource. Hold and wait. Hold and wait is if when the deadlock happen, which means so we have the two process cases. So this is holding the resource is a request by this one, okay? And also this one is holding the resource, then at the same time request. So which means if you do not have the resource is held, so just requesting, so you can wait until this one is done. Okay, so in case of the deadlock, it's a stop. So a process is holding at least one resource and the request the additional resource that is held by other processes. So hold and wait. Okay. The third one is no preemption. No preemption. Preemption means what? It's kind that we discussed in the CPU scheduling. There are two types of the CPU scheduler, preemptive and non-preemptive. What is the characteristic of the non-preemptive? So you admit the previous usage, previous status, which means you have the guarantee or the priority to resume that status. That is the preemptive. Non-preemptive means no guarantee. So which means if you want to complete your process, once it starts, it should be completed. Otherwise, you should go back into beginning. Okay, it's a because of termination. So no preemption means the operating system does not provide the previous usage of the process state, which means so it cannot be go back. It cannot be pause and resume later. Okay, you will lose any priority or the previous usage of the computer resources. So you need to wait to complete. That's the same thing, for example, when you print something, So can you stop in the middle? No, it should be complete. Once it is started, then keep working. So that is the no preemption. And this is intuitively, you understand the most important part is a circular weight. Circular weight is, so in these two process cases, so they are weighting each other. In other words, it's a circle. Okay, this one is waiting for this, held by this one, and this one is waiting for this, is held by this one. It's a keep waiting each other. Many processes, more than the two process cases, it's the same thing. So they are waiting each other. That should be circular weighting. So circular weight is the most important, the characteristic of the deadlock. In other words, when we detect when we decide whether this current status of the operating system is deadlocked or not, we can check whether this is a circular weight or not. So we will see.
Professor,
Yes.
The Holden weight and circular weight, they are both the same thing or different?
This is just a Holden weight. Holden weight can be, for example, this one can be Holden weight, not without circle. Okay, sometimes they request this, and so this is considered as a circular weight, but the Holden weight is a Holden weight, Holden weight, Holden weight, and Holden weight. Okay, this one is no. So this is Holden weight, Holden weight, Holden weight. So, however, this is not the deadlock. Inside the deadlock, when you check it, that is a Holden weight. Okay, and they should form the circular. Okay.
So every Holden weight is a circular weight as well?
No, that's different. We will see example. Okay, later. Okay, and to represent such the deadlock characterization using the system model, so we can use the resource allocation graph. Okay, what is a graph? Graph is a data structure that you learn at the last part of your data structure class in your undergraduate, right? So what is the difference between, what is a similar data structure as the graph? Tree structures, right? So tree has the three different types of node. One is a root node, right? Which does not have any the parents node, but only children node. And we have the leaf node. Leaf node does not have any children node, only the parent node and internal node. Okay, they have both of them. So this one has the relationship parent and children relationship. So tree structure used a lot for the fast access to data. Okay. Then what is the difference between this one and this one? Graph and tree structure. Graph does not have parent and relationship. They have the data either or data node or node, so or vertex. So it's the same thing, but also they have the relationship between two nodes, between two data items. However, this relationship is a parent and child relationship. On the other hand, the graph is just number of nodes and edge is the between two nodes. Okay. In case there might be direction from here to here, like the Twitter. So if we consider user 1, user 2, user 3, user 4, the user 1 is following user 4. Okay, this is a directed graph. Sometimes there is no direction. So this is the more general, the concept of the general data structure, then the tree structure. The benefit, it can represent the relationship, structural relationship of the data. Okay, so this one also tree represent, okay, such a the relationship of the data. Because of when you find the data, it will be very fast, mostly log. In case of binary search, it's a log, and because of this one, you can speed up to access the data. So where do you get the log n? When you have n number of the data item, how many levels? In case they are complete the graph, it will be log base n. In case of binary, base 2, and in case the m, it will be m. Number of level, because when you access the data, you don't have to access all the data, only level, then you can find it. So the algorithm based on the tree structure will be log n. Okay? Because of this reason, you do gotta have a balanced tree. If not balanced, it will be the higher than the log n. What about this one? Even though graph structure can represent such a relationship of the data item, but if, for example, when I search the specific node, how long it takes? When you compare the two nodes, how long? So you need to do full scan, okay? You need to visit all of the node. You need to operate all the combination of the node. So this is the called many of the graph operation is called NP-hard problem. So probably you heard about that, NP-hard, in your algorithm class. So what is the NP-hard? NP stands for non-polynomial. In other words, it's not optimized. It's just a brute force way, all possibility. Not all graph operations are NP-hard, but many of them are NP-hard problem, which means there's no optimized solution. However, nowadays many researchers and people try to optimize by considering constraint or narrow down the problem. But in general, it's an NP-hard problem. So in this case, we are going to use the graph structure to represent the process and resource. Okay, at that time, there are two types of the node. In this case, instead of V, we are going to use the P and another one is R. So that is the N edges. So P is the process, and we have the number of the process, and also we have the n number of resource time. Okay, so this is a P and R. P plus R, the number of node, and also there are two types of the edges, but actually we don't have to separate. But from the edge consists of a request edge. E is the directed graph, so this is P1, this is R1. If the edge is from P1, P2R, process to resource is a request. I need this resource. It's not allocated yet, resource. If that is permitted, so granted, then opposite, the direction of the edge means is the assignment. It's used by process 1. So there are two types of the vertex. One is a process, another one is for the resource, and we have the edge. One edge is the directed edge, depending on the direction. So from process to the resource is a request. It's not the allocated yet. Then the other way is from the resource to the process means is the directed, the assigned, is allocated. Okay. Then we are going to use this symbol notation. So process is a circle, and resource time is the square. However, as we have seen before, each resource type may have multiple instances. Like I have the CPU 0, CPU 1, CPU 2, CPU 3. At that time, to represent such an instance, we have small, the rectangle, or the small square, which means this one is the resource type 1, and there are W1, W2, W3, W0. So 4 the instances are there. Also, so this is the edge is the directed graph from process to the resource. Process I is requesting one of instance of the I resource. Okay, it's not assigned yet, so that's the reason the end of arrow is pointing the type. Okay, out of box. Then, if one of them is assigned from the one of the instance, we can point the process. Okay, this is the request edge. So using this notation, so we can, for example, this is a resource allocation graph of the current status. How many processes we have? P1, P2, P3. We have 3 processes. How many resource type here? So 1, R1, R2, R3, R4. Okay, we have 4 resource type. For example, R1 has only 1 instance, and R3 also 1 instance, but R2 has 2 instances, and R4 has 3 instances. Then, the arrow means from here, we are going to start from P1. P1 is using, currently holding. It's holding one of the instance of R2. Okay, so currently using, it's holding. Then request R1. Okay, and however, another instance of the R2 is held by the P2, is currently used by the P2. Then, does it satisfy with the mutual exclusion?
No.
Yes, it's for each instance. Okay, when we are talking about the mutual exclusion, it's for each instance. It's still okay. So mutual exclusion, or in this case, it's a mutual exclusion, is okay. Then they are hold and wait, hold and wait, hold and wait, hold and wait, hold and wait. Okay. This one is not hold, but this is held by this, and it's a request by this one. So it's a hold and wait. But this one, okay. Then the no preemption means it's currently the current state. They are not going to stop the process. Okay. Then last one is checking whether this is a circular one. So this one is for us. This one is not circular, right? Because this one is requesting, and this one is held. This one is held. This one is requesting. This one is held. But this one is requesting this one, but P3 eventually finish, terminate. Then this one will be available. Then P2 will be terminated. Then once P2 is terminated, this one will be released, and this one also released, and then P1 will be completed. So it looks like a circular, okay? If we do not consider the direction of the circle, so this is a circle, okay? So if we consider the direction, it's not circular, the waiting. However, it's very hard to detect the direction, okay? The direction of the circular, so we can just consider this is a circle, okay, in resource allocation graph. However, even though we have such a circular graph, so that doesn't mean it's always the resource allocation, it's a deadlocked situation. It will be eventually completed. So why? Because the P3 is not actually holding. There's no, so it's holding, but it's not waiting for the other. So because of this one, so it is not the deadlock situation. So using such a resource graph, we can easily understand what's going on and whether this is the deadlock or not. Okay? If you can understand this one, don't worry about the description. So it's just the symbolize. Okay? Sometimes the formal or the symbolized way symbol is much easier than just the description. So this is an example of using the resource allocation graph. However, this is a simple case. In the real life system, how many processes? For example, the 100 processes. How many resources? Huge. Even we have the data structure defined in the used in the programming or operating system structure. There are a lot. So to detect such a circular wave or the Hoolean wave, it's not easy, even impossible. Okay, but we will see how to do that. So this is not the problem. What about this one? P3 is requesting. It's a hold and wait, right? Hold and wait. So is there any way to terminate any of this process?
No, unless we
No,
freeze something.
because of this. So finally, if we can see the circular weighting, and also this one is a circular weighting, so all of them are holding and weighting each other. Okay, so because of that, so that may answer in this case, resource allocation graph would consider this one is a circular weight, but this one not always a circular fashion cause the deadlock, but this one is the deadlock situation. Okay. So in this case, this is another example of the resource allocation graph. We have the 4 processes. We have the 2 resource type. Each of them has the 2 instances. So what about this one? This is a circular way. Okay, we can find the circle. Over here, the P1 and between the P1 and P3. However, because of the P2 and P4, because they are not weighting any other, and the P4 is, this is allocated, then P4 will be, this one P2 and P4, they are holding but not weighting. So eventually that will be terminated. Then there are available resources. Even though we have the circular weight over here, due to the available instance of the resource type, it will be completed. Okay, so that is the even though there is a cycle, or circular weight, but it is not the deadlock. But I realize the situation. It's a very tough and complicated to check each and everything. So in case even finding circle from the graph, this NP hard. It's not easy. Okay. However, just in case, if we can find such a circular weighting fashion, but some of them can be deadlocked, the others are not. But we consider regard in case of circle, it may be deadlock. Okay, high possibility of the deadlock. Okay, so no cycle, no deadlock, definitely. Okay, however, in case of the cycle from the resource allocation graph, so it may be deadlock, it may not be. Okay, depending on the hold and weight and the number of resource type. Okay, so to handle such right now, so we know what is a deadlock, and also we formally characterize what is a deadlock event. First, mutual exclusion and hold on weight, and no preemption, and the circular weight. Okay, that is the deadlock characterization. Then, next thing is we are going to handle such a deadlock. How to address the problem of the deadlock situation? There are 4 approaches. So 2 of the deadlock prevention and deadlock avoidance. First time when I learned this one, because the English is not my the mother tongue, so it's hard to differentiate what is the prevention, what is the avoidance. It looks like the same meaning. So, but let's clear in this class. Prevention is to prevent. Never make the deadlock event because it's a preventive. Okay, how? How can you prevent deadlock? In other words, what is a deadlock? If the current resource process and resource allocation graph satisfy with the 4 requirements, okay? 2, 3, 4, 4 requirements, that is a deadlock, right? So that, in other words, if one of them is broken, if you break one of them, it's not deadlock, right? So that is a deadlock prevention. So you are not going to allow the current process resource allocation, the graph, what the current process resource, the status if you do not allow to satisfy all these four requirements, that is a deadlock prevention. So, for example, so mutual exclusion. If you allow all shareable resource, okay, all resource should be shareable, then the no mutual exclusion, right? But it's not the realistic. So some of the resource can be shareable, not all of them. So ideally, the theoretically possible, but the practically is not possible. Hold and wait. So how can we break hold and wait? You need, if you want to use the resource, you need to get the, until you get the log of the, I'd like to use the resource 1, resource 2, resource 3, not same time. So I'd like to use the resource 1, then resource 2. So that calls the hold and wait, right? If resource 2 is held by other process, I cannot proceed, I need to wait. Instead, why don't you allow to proceed to operate all the instruction? You can hold such the next step until you got all the resource. Okay? First, you need to get the log for all the resource. Then, once you get the log of all the resource, then do it. There's no problem, right? Theoretically, this one is also possible, but serialization, such a getting the log of all the resource, sometimes you may not get, right? In the the process, the operating system, multi-user system, it's not easy to get all the log. So this one is also practically not easy to implement. The no preemption. To break the no preemption, which means it's a preemption, right? But that is the same problem. So not always you can give the preemption to the process. Like for example, the printer is a good example. Once you start, is it easy to leave the printing? It's not easy, right? So that is the no preemption. So yeah, circular way. The opposite of the circular way is we are not going to allow such a circular way. So if we give something serialization, okay? If we give the serialization of using the specific resource, so serialization means it's linearly used per process. So it may be possible. However, serialization, to schedule the serialization is very, very complicated. Okay? Which one will be first, which one will be last, or whether there may be caused such a circular way or not. So deadlock prevention is theoretically possible, but practically not easy to implement. Some of them are never considered. So, but idea is simple. So because if you break one of the requirements, so your operating system will not cause any deadlock situation. So some specific operation or the single process, the operating system may be possible. So this is an example of using the mutex, so we can simulate the deadlock. Then we can test whether we can allow the serialization to process and so on. So I'm going to skip this part. So second solution is, so deadlock prevention never enter the deadlock because you prevent any such a situation. Okay? And deadlock avoidance, we try to avoid, even deadlock avoidance, this technique never allow the operating system to cause the deadlock situation. How? So we try to see if the process requests, if a process requests the resource, then check whether first circular way or not. In other words, whether we can make the list of process that can be successfully terminated. For example, let's say we have such a process 1, process 2, and resource 1, resource 2. And this is the held by this one and requesting, and this is the held by this one requesting. Then if P1 is requesting, this one check whether we can make this is called the safe state. Safe state means the current status, the current, sometimes the receiver receive the radio signal, there is intervene. I'm going to think about the other way. Anyway, so safe state means it's a no deadlock. How can we define whether this current status is safe or non-safe, or the deadlock or not? Is if we can find process list, sequence of process that can be successfully terminated, then there's no problem, right? So we are going to, instead of searching the circle from the graph, that is very, very complicated and takes a long time. Instead, we try to check whether we can terminate each process and eventually sequence all the process will be terminated. If we can find such a sequence of a process, that is called the safe state. If we cannot find such a sequence of list of process that can be terminated, if we cannot find that, then that is called the non-safe state. So the request will be avoided. Okay? So that is called the deadlock avoidance. So the key problem is whether we can determine this is a safe or non-safe if we accept this request. So to do that, so this is called the safe state. Safe state means, so if we can find the process list, okay, with the default, there might be several possibilities. Okay, it can be P2, P1, Pn, Pn-1, but as long as you can find the process list that can be successfully terminated in this order, that is called the safe state. So safe state, yes, there might be no problem, so you can grant the request of this one. Otherwise, so if we cannot find the sequence of process state that should be terminated, if we cannot find that means it's a non-safe state. Non-safe state may cause the deadlock. Okay, so we avoid such a request. Okay, so to do that, this is a simple example. So we have, in this case, the resource is a magnetic tape. Have you ever used a magnetic tape? Oh, really?
No.
How old are you? So in my case, the first computer that I used was the Apple II computer. So first, the personal computer produced by the Apple is the 1982. It's a long time ago. At that time, my dad purchased that computer. It was very, very expensive. Still, I don't know why. Even I didn't ask to my dad, but my dad, the purchase, gave that such an expensive computer. At that time, the price was it's the first personal computer from the Apple is 8-bit computer, and price is around almost $2,000 at that time. So at that time, the $2,000 means almost half a year's salary, 5 to 6 years salary in the hometown. So 1983. But I still don't understand. Even my dad cannot remember whether he gave such an expensive computer or not. But so I enjoyed that at the time. Then it's very small, the memory size, the hard disk drive is the less than one is 2 megabyte, 1 megabyte, something like that. So the only way to keep my the coding or any data is a magnetic tape. You know what that is? It's the cassette tape. Is there anyone who ever listened the music using cassette tape? Before CD-ROM. That's exactly same thing. That was the first magnetic tape to store the data. You can store the data using magnetic tape. Then there are it's the same idea, basically same mechanism, but it's called the dot tape, digital something tape. I cannot remember that abbreviation. It's called the dot tape. Dot tape will keep up to the 8 gigabyte. It's the same idea. So the magnetic tape still used. This tape device is still used for backup purpose. So backup purpose is still used. In the many of the banking system, they share some information between or among the bank system. They have something group of the banks. When they share their data, like the customer information or account information, they back up such a data to the magnetic tape and mail to them. So it's sometimes more reliable. Okay, for example, hard disk drive, if you drop, so it had because of the scratch, so you can easily lose the data. Actually, not losing all entire data. It's just a couple of bit or byte data. But anyway, if you lose the header information, I know the information that we are going to discuss later, you will lose the data. So also, the magnetic tape is very cheap. So now still, some of the backup systems still use a magnetic tape. So in this case, we have, let's say that we have the 12 magnetic tape drive and 3 processes. The maximum need means to be terminated P0 need 10 magnetic drives. Okay, currently 5 of them are used. So we have the total 12 the magnetic tape. 5 of them are used for P0. Similarly, P1 need up to 4, but 2 of them are used for P1. As the P2 need 9 of them, and 2 of them are used for used by the P2. And how many of them are available? 3 of them are available right now. Is the current status, is it the safe or not?
No.
No? Yes?
No.
What is a safe state? Whether or not we can terminate all of this process, right? So, for example, 3 of them are available. Let's check whether we can terminate the old process. 3 of them are available, right? So this one, P0 need 5 more, okay? 5 more. So it's not possible. P1, so 2 more. So we can actually allocate this one to the P1. P2, 7, so not possible. So P1 can be terminated. Right? So P1. Then once P1 is done, so let's clarify. The P1, 2 of them is allocated to the P1. 1 is available right now. Once P1 is terminated, 4 of them will be released. So 5 of them are available. Then if 5 of them are available, we can terminate the P0, right? So P0. Then, finally, P2 will be terminated. So we can find the sequence of process that guaranteed to terminate all the process. So this is a safe state. There might be no problem in terms of a deadlock. Okay? So that's the safe state. What if? In this case, P2 request. So in currently this one and P2 request plus 1 more. Okay? 1 more. Is it the safe state or not? So deadlock avoidance check before you allow this request. And what if we allow this request, whether that is safe state or not? If not safe state, and avoid that request. Then operating system will not cause the deadlock problem. Okay, so let's check. So this time, two of them are available, so free. Then if the P2 requests the one more, so one more, so let's the P2, suppose that this is a 3, and 1 is available. Which one?
The available 2. Because total are 12.
2. The last time, am I wrong?
Last time you was correct.
This one, the 5, 2, 3.
2.
So 2 of them are available. Okay. Then, which one? This one still need the 5. This one still need the 2. This one need
6.
it's a 6. Okay. Then, which one will be okay?
P1.
P1 will be okay. So this one will be done. P1 will be done. Then 2 of them will be returned. So available will be 4. Right? Then what about the P2? Definitely not possible. P1, P0, it needs the 5 more, but we have only 4 available, which means it's waiting for other process like the P2 until release the resource of this one, but still P2 is waiting for this one. So this is called non-safe state. So this one may cause, not always this one is the deadlock, but may be possibility of the deadlock event. So it's called the non-safe state. So then, according to the deadlock avoidance, operating system will not grant this. Okay? This is a deadlock avoidance. This is a very simple case. We have the only one resource type, and we have the number of processes. What if many resources? Maybe more complicated, but we can formalize the problem using resource allocation graph. Before that, in case the safe state, there might be no problem of the deadlock. However, in unsafe state or non-safe state, it may cause the deadlock, so deadlock avoidance, the decline, the request. So both deadlock prevention, deadlock avoidance, operating system never ever enter deadlock situation. So may not cause. Okay. So for the deadlock, the case of the deadlock avoidance, we are going to use the resource allocation graph. Okay, then apply Banker's algorithm. I do not know exactly why this algorithm called the Banker's algorithm. We will see. But I heard that because it's too fair with the customer request. So this is called the deadlock, the Banker's algorithm. So using the resource allocation graph, the deadlock unsafe if we the grant. Okay. So for example, here so P1 is the holding R1 resource 1 and requesting this one. So P2 is the requesting this one and P2 request R2. Then we are going to decide whether this may cause the deadlock or whether this is a safe state or non-safe state. So to do that, we are going to generalize the resource allocation graph by considering a number of P and number of resource, and also each resource has a number of the instances. Okay. So there are 4 variables. It's a matrix. So first available matrix is for the number of process. Okay. In this case, the number of process Pn. So we have n number of process, and this one is a resource. So resource is n number of resource. So n number of resources. For example, process 0, process 1 through process n minus 1. And resource 0 and through resource the n minus 1. Then if P0, how many of them are available? Available in this case, this is the available. It's a matrix 1 by m. I0 to Rn minus 1. How many of them are available? So like the resource, the type 0 available is 1. Resource type the R1 available 0. Resource the type Rn minus 1 is a something number. Okay, 9, something like that. This is available. It's a vector. It's a 1 by n, the matrix that indicate how many instances are available for each resource type. Then next is the to terminate the each process. For each process, how many resources are needed? Okay, so maximum need. Okay, to be the completed, to be terminated. Okay, so that is n by m, the matrix. Allocation is the same thing, n by m, but currently allocated, granted the number of resources. And the need is how many more instances are needed. So actually the need is the max minus allocation is the need. It's the same idea as the previous simple example, but in this case we are generalized in n number of case and n number of resources and also number of instances. So need can be calculated from the max minus allocation. So using this one, this is the Banker's algorithm. Banker's algorithm is nothing but the algorithm that try to find the sequence of process that can be terminated. To do that, how can we terminate each process? We need to find available resource that is less than, equal, or less than max. Or not. It's equal the number of max. Okay? So that is the idea. As we have done previous example, the tape driver. It's the same thing. To decide the safe state, we need to find which process will be available, terminated. So P1 is the form. Then P2, the P0, and P1, something like that. Same thing. We try to find the list of the process here that can be terminated, which means their max should be the max should be granted, okay, from the available. So that instead of explaining right now, I'm going to use the example first, then go back to the algorithm, and that will be easier. So this is one of the example. What time is it?
10 minutes.
Oh, we have 15 minutes. Is enough time? Okay, so we have 5 processes here, P0 to P4, and we have the 3 resource type. So it can be anything, just as this is a tape, the magnetic tape, and this is a disk drive, and this is the, let's say, CPU, something like that. It can be any the resource. So A has 10 instances, and B has 5 instances, and the C has 7 available the resource. So then, first allocation. What is first max first? Max means to terminate the P0. This process we need 7 of A, and 5 of B, and 3 of C. Okay? And similarly, P1 to terminate the P1, we need 3 of A, 2 of B, 2 of C, and so on. This is the maximum need. Okay? Then allocation means currently how many of them are allocated to this process. For example, P0 is currently holding only 1 B, 1 of B. Okay? And P1 currently, P1 is holding 2 of A. Okay? For example, to terminate the P1 first, how many more need?
108.
So minus max minus the allocation. That is the need. So need is, so for example, P1, 3 minus 2, 1. 2 minus 0, 2. 2 minus 0, 2. So 1 more A, 2 more B, and 2 more C are needed to be terminated. And similarly, we can calculate 7, 4, 3. And this one, 6, 0, 0. This one, 0, 1, 1. The last one, 4, 3, 1. Okay? These are needed to be to terminate each process. Then, how many of them are currently available? This is a free research. 3, 3, 2. Right? So our goal is to find process. Their need is equal or less than available. Right? That's the same idea as the previous example, take driver example. The only difference is we have a number of research. So in this case, which one is so equal or less than this? This is not. This is possible. This is not. And this is possible. This is not. Then which one will be selected? Either of them is fine, but the more the better. Which one will return more research? So not this one. We need to take a look at the max. Okay, max. This one will return more, right? So it's up to you. We can, if that doesn't work, we can go back and test it again. Okay. So in this case, I'd like to select the P1 first. So P1 will be terminated. So P1 is terminated. What happened when terminated? All the currently allocated resource will return to available. So this available is changed to 5, 3, 2. And this one is terminated, P1. Then same thing, apply the same algorithm. Each process is equal or less than new available. Not this, and not this. This one is okay, and this one is okay. So I'd like to go for this one because it will return more than this. Okay, so P4. When P4 is done, okay, this allocated one will be returned. Okay, so, but in this case, this one will be better, right? But either way is fine. If not working, we can go back and try it again. So P3, yes. Then this one will be added to this one. So new available is 7, 4, 3. This is a new available. This is done. P3, and this one is which one is P3? P3 is done. Okay. Then do it again. 7, 4, 3. This one is okay. This one is okay. And every process are fine. So we can P1, P0, and P2, and P4. At least one sequence. If you can find at least one sequence of process that can be terminated, that means this is a safe status using Banker's algorithm. Okay, then let's go back to the algorithm. So this is the exactly same. Exactly same thing. Okay, so we have the work can finish. So we try to find the rotate. Okay, we try to find that is the less than work. Okay, need is less than work. Okay, then we'll do it again until the find the complete all the process. Okay, so that is called the Banker's algorithm. Okay, that's exactly same algorithm that we have used in the example. So I explained the Banker's algorithm using the example, but you should be able to understand the algorithm itself. Okay, then how we can apply Banker's algorithm for deadlock avoidance. So this is the algorithm to determine whether this one is safe or not. So in case there is a request like this one in the previous example. So P1 request 1 of A, 0 B, and 2 of B. Okay, it's a requesting. You need to decide, operating system need to decide whether this will be granted or not. How? Check if, assume that this one is granted, then the P1 is will be changed. So how many? 1 or 2? So P1, 1, okay? 3 or 2. 3 or 2. This one will be changed. And 1 or 2 minus, so 2, 3, 0. This will be the new available, okay? 3 or 2. Where is it? Oh, this one. So 3 interchanged into the 3 or 2. Okay. Then available is 3230. Okay. This assumed this is granted. Then apply the Banker's algorithm again. Same algorithm. Whether this is the safe state or not. In case the safe state, yes, permit. Otherwise, decline because it caused not always that's a deadlock, but it may cause the deadlock event. So quickly check the algorithm. To do that, this is the allocation. This is the need. We already got the need. Okay, it's not the next. So then our goal is to find the less than equal or less than available. Which one will be? P1 or P3 is not possible, right? Because of C. C is a 0. So only P1 is possible. Then if P1 is done, 3 or 2 will be returned, right? It's already allocated 3 or 2. So this is a 5, 3, 2. Okay? Then which one? This is not possible. This is already done. This is not possible. This is not possible. This is possible, right? So this one is possible. So which one will be better? This one or this one? The one. P3, 2, 1, 1, 7, 4, 3. Okay? Then 7, 4, 3. Then P2 is, no, P3 is the P3, okay? Then 7, 4, 3, this one is possible, and this one is possible, this one is possible. So we can find any sequence of the process. So it will be granted, okay? Then, the example, the last one today. What about the 330? 330, the previous example. Okay? The previous example 330. 330 to which one? The P4. So the P4 330. P4 330. 332 is a changes to the 332, and this one will be changed to the 002. Okay, this is a new available. Then apply the Banker's algorithm. Available at the need, the max minus allocation. So 7, 4, 3, and this one is 1, 2, 2. And 6, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, and that one is 1, 0, 1. Is there any one? There's no one. Okay? No process will be terminated. So this is a non-safe state, unsafe state, which means decline the request. Okay, that is the deadlock avoidance algorithm. We have one more homework. You don't have to submit. but I'm going to ask whether you did or not. So why don't you try by yourself this? Then next class we will continue the rest of the part of the deadline. So next week Friday, I'd like to have the midterm exam. Is there anyone? Could you check the next room whether they are running any class? Yes. Because I know, not right now. So I'm going to see it. And if possible, I'd like to have the exam the same time and bigger room. But unfortunately, there is no available room next week, Thursday, 9:30. Okay. So I'd like to see whether other room is available. If available, I'd like to split into two groups that we can have the exam. Another option is the Friday morning. So which one will be better? What do you think? Friday morning?
Thursday evening.
There is? Then I think that we need to have the Friday exam. So Friday exam, if you have any class or any doctor's appointment, you need to contact me through email, not on campus. Okay? And I'm going to assign the makeup exam for those who verify. Okay? Otherwise, we will have the Friday morning exam. There is no class on Thursday. Okay? No class on Thursday. Instead, the Friday morning, 9:30 to 10:45, Dana Hall, room 107. So, you know the classroom for the Engineering 400 seminar. So this is the Dana Hall, the 107. Friday, March 11. Okay, so Friday, 9:30 to 10:45. Exam, half of that, not half, 40% will be the multiple choices. Then the other 6 open-ended question. I'm thinking the 4 to 5 open-ended question, okay? Each of them is worthwhile 10 to 15 points. But it will be based on our class activity, okay? Definitely, it's based on the class activity. I'm not going to make the brand new question from the new operating system technology. Definitely based on the textbook. Okay, textbook is the first material to prepare your exam. Okay, do not rely on only PowerPoint. Okay, it's not just supplementary to have my lecture, but all the class activity, including your project. From time to time, I ask a question from the project. So we have so far the project 0, okay? Surprisingly, if I ask a question about each student project, like for example, network, the IPC, interprocess mechanism you use in your project 0. Surprisingly, not many students can answer such a, what you did, you can just. So including the project, any class activity will be part of the open-ended question. Okay. Also, do not believe too much the history of the previous exam. Okay. So some of the students complain, I studied the exam based on the history. So, but I changed the question. Then why did you change the question? Story up to me, okay? Please don't be stupid. Such a question. So, but if the baseline is this classroom, okay? If you attend all the class and did successfully all the class activity by yourself, okay? I know some of the students are lucky, even though you copy and paste the quiz or others, but it's not taught by the GA or me, but you are lucky, but you cannot be lucky in the midterm exam if you believe that. Okay. Also, multiple choice. Mostly, the average of multiple choice is less than open-ended question. So you should be serious. So That means you don't have to memorize from A to Z, but you should understand. Okay? Then it will be very easy. But if you are not ready, not prepared, the surprisingly average of the multiple, I usually give the 4 multiple choices. So 4 choices. Sometimes 5, but mostly 4. Random selection is around 25, right? Percent. But it's usually less than half. So 30 to 40. Really. So I try to make the very easy question, but if that reflects whether how much you prepare for the exam. Okay? So 40% multiple choice, the other 60%, the open-ended, including the 4 to 5 questions, that include all the class activity. Okay? And the exam hour is 9:30 to 10:45. Luckily, we have a time to extend in case I make the very difficult challenge of a question. It can be a little bit extended. So make the free time. Even after I know you are busy on Friday to have a date or whatever, but a little bit the free time after it can be extended 10 to 15 minutes. Okay. Then so it's a Dana Hall, March 11. I'm very sorry to change the exam schedule. However, so it's most complaint. So some student actually cheat the exam sheet because it's too tight. So I'd like to use the bigger room to be fair. Okay. Any question? If you have something, the issue, including the conflict class schedule or doctor's appointment. Okay. Read the proof. In case of the conflict schedule, the course title and the course hour, the email. Okay.
One question in the class. If the hold and wait is not circular, how can it be deadlock?
It's not hold and wait.
If it is hold and wait,
Hold and wait.
then it's not
So
circular.
not all the hold and wait. It's the opposite way. If we investigate the deadlock situation, that should be hold and wait. Okay, that's the characterization. But not reverse.
No, the question is actually, there are 4 actually ways to...
And we will discuss. Okay? So, what time is it? Okay, so 50. So, keep your mind the exam schedule and we will see on Tuesday. Tuesday I will remind again. Thank you.